A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 8, verses 5 to 17. Passage taken from the Message version of the Bible. As Jesus entered the village of Capernaum, a Roman captain came up in a panic and said, "Master, my servant is sick. He can't walk. He's in terrible pain." Jesus said, "I'll come and heal him." "Oh no," said the captain. "I don't want to put you to all that trouble. Just give the order and my servant will be fine. I'm a man who takes orders and gives orders. I tell one soldier, 'Go,' and he goes. To another, 'Come,' and he comes. To my slave, 'Do this,' and he does it." Taken back, Jesus said, "I've yet to come across this kind of simple trust in Israel, the very people who are supposed to know all about God and how He works." This man is the vanguard of many outsiders who will soon be coming from all directions, streaming in from the east, pouring in from the west, sitting down at God's kingdom banquet alongside Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Then those who grew up in the faith but had no faith will find themselves out in the cold, outsiders to grace and wondering what happened. Then Jesus turned to the captain and said, "Go, what you believed could happen has happened." And that moment, his servants became well. By this time they were in front of Peter's house. On entering, Jesus found Peter's mother-in-law sick in bed, burning up with fever. He touched her hand and the fever was gone. No sooner was she up on her feet than she was fixing dinner for him. That evening, a lot of demon-afflicted people were brought to him. He relieved the inwardly tormented. He cured the bodily ill. He fulfilled Isaiah's well-known sermon. He took our illnesses. He carried our diseases. The Gospel of the Lord.
Reflections on the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 8, verses 5 to 17. The term faith is not necessarily about our spiritual life. Rather, it is a very secular word. Without faith, our life becomes almost impossible. We have faith that the food we consume is not poisonous. We have faith in the drivers of buses and trains by which we travel every day. We have faith in our doctors. Of course, all these can let us down, but on the whole, we maintain our faith in them. But faith in Jesus is something different. This faith is the response of the human heart to God's infinite love and mercy. It's a supernatural gift from God. The faith of the Roman centurion is one of the most moving and powerful examples of faith in the whole of New Testament. His act of faith is remembered every time we celebrate the Eucharist. "Lord, I am not worthy to have you under my roof, but only say a word." Pope Francis, while reflecting on the passage, he said, "The Lord marveled at the centurion. He marveled at his faith. The centurion made a journey to meet the Lord, but he made it in faith. He not only encountered the Lord, but he came to know the joy of being encountered by Jesus. When we allow ourselves to be encountered by Jesus, He enters into us and renews us from within," says Pope Francis. The Holy Spirit was at work in this Gentile soldier, moving him to a faith so profound. It is important to understand and appreciate that the Spirit is always at work in people's lives, whoever they are or whatever they have done. God allows His sun to shine on the righteous and the unrighteous, on the good and the bad and the rebellious. Matthew also speaks of Jesus entering the house of Peter and healing his mother-in-law. He mentions it here for the purpose of catechesis. Yesterday we reflected on Jesus touching the leper. Today we see Him touching the sick woman. Recall the words of Pope Francis, "Do not be afraid to get our hands dirty. Touch the lives of the people around." The Greek word chosen by the evangelist is used to indicate the resurrection, raising from the dead, from the condition of no life. The sick woman represents the whole humanity to which Jesus approaches to introduce new life. Once healed, she begins to serve Jesus and His disciples. Here is the sign that characterizes who is put back on his feet by Jesus: the service to the brothers and sisters. Until that happens, healing has not occurred or is still incomplete. The Gospel ends with the narration of Jesus driving out demons and healing many sick who were brought to Him at the house of Peter. This is important. House of Peter is the church. It is in the church of Christ that we have new life.